In the previous episode, we looked at the apology of Socrates, and we learned that after trying to defend himself in court, Socrates was given a death sentence. Now, according to the Phaedo, which is the fifth of the 5 dialogues of Plato, Socrates was kept in prison for some time before he was executed. The cause of this delay was a religious festival during which the city of Athens was not allowed to perform public executions. During this time, Socrates was visited by his friends, and a few days before his death, he was visited by his friend Crito. Crito wanted to save Socrates as he felt that the death of Socrates was going to deprive him of a friend he would never find again. He was also worried about what people were going to say because he had more than enough money to bribe the prison guards who were willing to take a bribe. And the main purpose of Crito's visit was to try and convince Socrates to escape. He said Socrates would be welcomed in many places outside Athens. He said he would be betraying his sons if he refused to escape because the sons of Socrates were still young. He said he was choosing an easy path by surrendering to death. Now, typical of Socrates, he wanted them to discuss and examine whether what they wanted to do was right or wrong. The first thing he pointed out was that Crito should not care much about what other people think. He said, we should not worry much about what the majority says, but we should worry about the opinions of those who understand truth and justice. As they were discussing, Socrates said, if Crito does not have valid and reasonable arguments, he must then stop repeating the same thing, that he must escape. He reminded Crito that one must never do wrong regardless of the circumstance, and one must never inflict wrong as a way of revenge. Socrates told Crito that by escaping they would be destroying Athens, its laws, and its people. He said, if the verdicts of the court have no force and are nullified by private individuals, the city would be destroyed. The laws of Athens do not forbid anyone from going to live in another place if that individual is not satisfied. The citizens of Athens are required to persuade its authorities if they are not satisfied, or obey its commands if they don't have any objections. He says the fact that he spent the rest of his life in Athens shows that he was satisfied with its laws. If he now escapes, he will be regarded as an enemy in the nearby cities because those cities are well governed. He will be treated with suspicion because he is a destroyer of laws. He says the jury will believe their judgment was appropriate and they will feel vindicated if he commits another crime by escaping. The other thing he said is that he did not want to escape to poorly governed or uncivilized cities because he would not be able to have a civilized social life. He felt that if he had decided to escape, he would not be taken seriously as a philosopher. He would use his obedience to the law as his defense when he arrives in the afterlife. He believed that the underworld would not receive him kindly if he had disrespected the laws of his country. After hearing all this, Crito had nothing to say, and this is where the dialogue ends.